Welcome to the overview for Human Resources for Infrastructure 365. During this time, we'll cover how to set up human resources ready to use and how to use it on a day-to-day basis, get the most out of your system. It's really straightforward to go. Once you've set up in the system control, you set up your calendars, you set up your categories of calendar entries, assets, training and qualifications. Once these are set up, as well as your system control defaults here, including an email queue, because you do get email entitlement options, you can start using the system. To start using the system, you set up your employees. So in the employee setup, you can pull in all your payroll employees or just ones with an existing HR record, just to drill down a little bit there for you. Once you put in your employee, you get access to all of these here. You can add the entitlements for the employee. So you can see per year what their entitlements are, how many they've got left, if they've got any loyalty days, etc. You can add any assets that you've previously set up in system control with training and qualifications, any consultations that are underway, any disciplinaries, investigations, warnings, suspensions, etc. And there's also a document management system where you can hold things like copies of the passport or driving license if so required. When you want to use the system, you can go into calendar entries and start applying any holidays to your employee. So once you've picked one up that's set up, you get a lovely little interactive screen here where you can see how many holidays have been taken and how many are remaining. If there's a chance that somebody else is working on it, there is a refresh option there. You can add a category, so you can choose holiday, sickness, training, anything like that. These are all set up in system control under categories, so you can choose whichever you want in there for yourselves. And you can add the dates. If it's an afternoon, you can just end up just with a morning or afternoon. Any narrative there can be picked up by Query Tool. On this screen, you can choose to view the calendar entries for this employee, and it will show you on a calendar, and it will give you information for which these are. So if they've got a holiday, it will show up as holiday on there. You can also view the entries as a list. So you can just see there, it's got 10 days holidays, and this is where you would go if you need to delete or change any entries. If we cancel out from there, and we'll pick up another employee. So you can see there's also had some holidays taken there, slightly different entitlement. But if we look at the calendar entries here, we see a few more entries that are available. So we can see this employee's had a sick day, they've had some external training, and there's also some holidays in there as well. I'll quit from there. You get the option for creating employee entitlements as well. So you can choose an old calendar, which will be you choose the calendar there and select the year for 19. You can then choose the calendar again there and select 20 for the year. You do it by payroll code. You can choose all the employees or just a range. You can copy their entitlements from the previous year into the future year. Any carry forwards with a maximum date there. Copy your loyalties, and you can also do report only, so you'll see what will be moved over before you commit to doing it. You've also got reporting, so you can report for any DBS period checks or any warnings or anything like that that's going to expire. Again, you get a decent range to do from if you want to do dates or per payroll. In the department view, you get to choose per department to see the holiday entries. This is really handy. You can choose a start date and how many days you want to go from there. You can choose to put your expiries in, show leavers, and only show employees with calendar entries. But this is great if somebody needs to book a holiday and you rely on other people to be there to provide cover. So then you can see per department who, see this person here, their training expires there. You can see the sick days and you can see holidays booked. So if Mr. Bob Bobbison wanted to book that week off, but Kay Mackay covers him, then we know he can't have that same week off there. You also can email the employee entitlements. So from here, you can choose your employees, go first to last. You can report only, so that will show you what's going to be sent before it's sent. Otherwise, if you untick that, it uses the email address that's set up against the employee record. You just hit submit, and we've got 4 employees that have been emailed successfully. So if we go into the spool queue, choose the email printer from there, we can see that Mr. Bobby Bobbison, Julie Julieson, Michael Michelson, and Kay Mackay have all had their entitlements emailed to them. So it says there, please find below your remaining holiday entitlement for this period is 19 days. So that will be emailed. It's very basic, but it will be emailed to them. And as you can see, because all of these items are grey in this queue, it means they're flagged as private. So only the person who creates the spool file can see them. So we'll quit from there. You can increase loyalty days. So for each year, you can choose start and end date, the maximum that it can be increased by. You choose the calendar and the year. It is all really nice and straightforward. And that is the basics of human resources. So if people need to see it, you can, if somebody in payroll, you don't want access to all of this, you can give them access to display the calendars, and it goes through in the normal way. It links through to query tool as well. So if you were to choose employee entitlements here, you'll see that there will be a query that's already set up, and then that will pop up in query tool with anything that's been set up prior to that. So it's really handy that everything is available via query tool as well, in the normal options for the continue to inquiry types. And here you can see what the emails look like when they hit your inbox. You can see that they've been sent from HR department, which is set up here. This can be set to whatever works for you, whether it be an individual or a department with a no reply email address, whichever works well. And you can just see the very basic email. It's all that the employers really need to know. So that looks good there. So that is the basics of human resources.